I don't even know what day it is, to be honest, but given like the current circumstances of the world, I think that's okay. Honestly, these might not be my glasses. Not sure. Hopefully they are. I mean, they work. We're gonna keep them on. So last week I brought on my friend Peter to talk about the creative process, and we picked out 3 of his favorite photos. We just talked about the, the thought process behind taking the photo, the editing process and all that. But he also brought up a really good point, which I think is super important, regardless like what skill level or whether or not you do photography as like a job or just as a hobby.
Honestly, if the photo wasn't that like good when I shot it, it would still hold a lot of value to me just because of the memories I have there. So
like Peter said, sometimes the best photos aren't even the ones that are like, necessarily the best like by composition or whatever, but they're the ones that you associate the best memories with. That Arizona trip was just a lot of fun. We just spent a lot of time together with some really great people, and honestly, like he said, the memories and stuff is just, when you're hanging out with your closest friends, there's nothing better than that. So that being said, we're bringing on another one of my really good friends, and also the reason why I started this entire YouTube channel, and that's my boy Kevo Salinas.
What's going on, guys? It's Kevo here, and I'm here with Nathan, so this is cool.
Yeah, this is our boy Kevin right here. So Kevin, known for almost a year now. Met him the same way I met Peter, through Disneyland.
I actually have a Disneyland t-shirt on, so it's appropriate. It's appropriate.
Shout out our boy Mickey Mouse. So Kevin works full-time as like a freelancer, basically. Does video, photo. Basically the man does anything. Man is God tier.
Like, if you're pressured, the least I can do is at least hop on, because this is all my fault.
That's true. Kevin made me get a YouTube. The only reason why I am here today making this video is because of Kevin. Kevin gave me the little push I needed to start YouTube.
Like that.
That's
just
not
little.
That's not a little push. So I have Kevin come on here, pick 3 of his photos, and then he's just gonna kind of like talk about like creative process behind the photos, just like what, thought process of like angles, all that, and then editing, what he like brings out and stuff like that. So the first one is this Vibey Portrait that Kevin took. So this one was for like a convention, right, or something that you guys shot?
Yeah, we were doing some basically like a free YouTube video for like a hairdresser, and he was having like a little he was part of a convention, like part of like a specific hair brand per se. So we kind of just there to kind of like capture like his day at the convention type of stuff for a vlog for his channel. And then I guess this is one of the models that he had to show like his super awesome hair skills. So in order to provide more content, not only for his YouTube, but also for like his Instagram and stuff like that, kind of like, do some stuff for him, that way he can post it and we can get like recognition. Yeah, we did like a quick little mini session with like 2 of his models, and this is one of the models that we got to work with. And yeah, luckily like the convention center had like some super cool lights, so like you just had this pink light coming down, and honestly, like, I don't know, it was just like weird lighting coming from a weird place, and it was pink, so I thought, okay, we can work with that. And her hair was like, it was actually silver with a bit of like pink and purple towards the ends, but it just looked all pink because of the lights. And yeah, so we decided, I was like, okay, like this would be a cool spot. And I don't know, I really like, not a huge fan of like in general light on top of people, it's very dramatic, but in this shot, I think it works super perfectly. It's dramatic, it's very fashiony, vibey. So yeah, I think that's why I really liked it. And yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, from everything, like the shirt, the logo, I don't know, I don't even know how I got this shot. Like, I don't know, like the Canon gods took over and used my body as a vessel, to be honest. Yeah, if you asked me to recreate this, like literally zero kind of it was just like in the moment, just cool. I don't know. Yeah, but that's kind of more of like my fashiony endeavors, I'd say. But yeah, definitely been trying to practice more of that, because that seems very fun to do. But yeah, this is me trying to work at that goal per se.
Yeah, I mean, like out of these 3 photos, like you had a pretty crazy variety going on, So this one obviously is like fancy little like fashion shoot, and then the next one that we're going to is this like wedding. Actually, you and I shot together. This one, that was a crazy day.
Exactly, and that's why it's memorable to me, and that's why I was like, okay, it has some weight to it, you could say so. Obviously, this was my first wedding as a photographer doing it. It was a small elopement, last minute. Yeah, obviously I was supposed to be there regardless, just to help Nathan shoot video for the actual wedding, but things changed. I became the photographer and stuff like that for the wedding. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like that's like a significant value, you could say so. But as far as like this photo goes, definitely wasn't my idea. And that's why I kind of want to talk about it, to kind of like, sometimes as a creative, it's not that I was like on a high horse or anything like that, but you have to be like humble enough per se. So when like, if your client suggests you something, like take that into consideration, and then make the best out of it by adding your spin on it. So I don't know. That's why I want to talk about this photo, because I think it's like very important for us as creators to also like take into consideration what your client wants and make that like fucking better by making it your own. So it's like a collaborative effort to come up with this image. And honestly, like if it wasn't for them saying like, hey, we want to picture someone like this, I probably would have never gone this shot. And yeah, like this is one of like the most like, I don't know, one of the best shots I think I took that day itself. It's just like super moody. The way I edited it, I really wanted them to stand out from the background, but I didn't want to lose the background completely. So but yeah, definitely I couldn't have done the shot if it wasn't for me taking my client's information and making that my own, and to create something that we would both like. So yeah, that's why I really want to talk about this shot, because listen to your clients, guys. Like just listen to them. Sometimes they kind of have like 2 or 3 pointers that are actually really good.
Yeah.
Clear case with the photo.
Yeah, no, like this one I just remember because like shout out Amanda and Jackson for like having like a full Pinterest board of like everything they wanted to like the wedding photos to look like, and then like they pulled up like this one photo, and I'm like, I think it was kind of like inspired by like a Brandon Waffle
yeah, very light.
But like I think like the way that you edited it just like looks edited it.
Don't start again.
No, but yeah, I think like the way that you really just like edited it looks like super different from like I think that vibe that like you would kind of traditionally see that are like associated with fairy lights, and I think that's like this is honestly like one of my favorite shots of yours.
Oh, that'd be kind of hard maybe to work with, especially because the lights were actually really blue, so I really had to like change the temperature on it just so they could look white. And I think that's where the issue was. It was just the issue was that when we were shooting, the lights were really blue. They were very cold. But in editing, we took that all out, and it still stayed very like nice and warm. Everything in general. So, but yeah, I mean, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I surprised myself. And literally, I like give credit to like Amanda and Jackson. It was literally their idea. I just like made it happen for them. But yeah, that's it, man.
Shout out Amanda and Jackson.
Shout out AF.
And then, so this last one, dude, at this point, I'm just going to say like all of your photos are basically my favorite photos.
I mean, thanks, bro. Appreciate it, dude.
There's so much just about like this photo especially that just like, you just get that like the vibe.
Yeah, for this one, I mean, okay, so I was trying to enter a YouTube giveaway to go to Australia. So it was like I had a film of how I got a certain photo, like the process of doing it. So yeah, I mean, that's how this photo kind of came about. It was like super not last minute, but I already knew I wanted to shoot here just regardless. And I was like, okay, that'd be cool to like get a photo there. But yeah, I mean, this shot itself took like at least 1.5 hours to get. We were there like chasing like, I don't know how many planes we try to get photos with, but yeah, it's like there's an airport literally right behind us right there. And yeah, we were there for like a quick minute. Honestly, like when I got this photo, it was literally so dark. That's why it was like pitch black. Like my settings were completely off. And but yeah, I mean, thanks to the godness and the greatness of RAW, I was just able to get everything to come back. Definitely kind of played more into like because there was a lot of grain. There's like so much grain in this photo just because my ISO was like at like, I don't know, astronomical. I think it was at 64,000. So I was like, I just played into that, and I was like, okay, we're gonna play with grain, more of like a vintagey, I don't know, like filmic vibe. That's what we tried going for on that one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just literally like, this was the best edit I can get with like the crappy photo, because it was really crappy because of the grain. But in the end, it kind of just came out good, keeping it dark, keeping it moody, and everything. I don't know, everything kind of played together at the end. But yeah, like point is, this was a really terrible shot. So also another quick lesson, like if you take a shot, like don't delete it. Yeah, I used to do that a lot before. Like I would take photos and stuff, and I would like either overexpose or underexpose by a lot. But you bring it into Lightroom, sometimes you can save that photo. You never know. So that's what I learned with this one. But yeah, it was just, yeah, definitely had to work hard for that shot.
Shout out our boy Kevin, because like also like his YouTube, if you check it out, which will ding his YouTube somewhere. Like that ding, somewhere right here. But yeah, like he's been doing a bunch of like editing tutorials and stuff. So like honestly, straight up learning so much just from that. Like YouTube, shout out YouTube University.
Shout out YouTube, man. That's what I graduated from. Shit.
As like, since you've been doing photography for like a while, like if you had like any sort of advice that you would give to like maybe that like person out there who's kind of just picked up a camera during this like entire quarantine period and like wants to learn like a little bit more, like try to get like better, like what are like 2 or 3 best pieces of advice you could give them?
Honestly, like I know we just made a joke about it, like YouTube University, like literally anything that there is that you're gonna learn in general as far as camera setting, like shooting techniques or little everything, like just like immerse yourself in like YouTube for like, I don't know, 2 weeks or whatever it is. Just like educate yourself on what you should be looking for, not necessarily like doing, just like get inspiration of like, oh, I should be looking to do this, I should be looking to do that, and like, you know, like just educate yourself per se. Second of all, like I would think just like shoot, you know, put that education into practice and just shoot like the whole crap ton until like, you know, like any opportunity you get to shoot, like that's just gonna make you better. It's like working out, you know, the more you work out, the more like buff or whatever you're fit you're gonna get. So if you don't do the repetitions, you don't shoot, you don't do that, like you don't expect to grow. So honestly, like those two things are like what's gonna help you grow. Obviously, like involved with that would just be editing like a lot. That's not the third thing though. Like I think the third thing that you should probably be doing also, that I know, like especially if you're a beginner, like don't compare yourself. Like don't compare yourself to anyone. You don't know how long that person's been doing photography for. You don't know like how long it takes them to achieve their certain look or something like that. I know that can be very discouraging for like new people, new photographers. I know it kind of was for me when I started. Like you see like, oh, like why am I even doing this if this person exists and they do this type of content? So it's like, don't compare yourself, focus on yourself, focusing on bettering yourself. Yeah, just shooting, editing, and shooting. That's literally it. Just educating yourself. Yeah, if you do those two things, like that's gonna help you out a lot. And just like don't like blinders on. Don't look at anyone else but yourself to better yourself. Obviously, look at people for inspiration, but don't be like, oh, like I'm not him, I suck. No, just be like, okay, like I'm gonna try to recreate that in my own certain way. So yeah, you have to do.
Well, you heard it here. This is from the pro tips from our boy, the favorite bearded man, Kevin Salinas. He got his Instagram somewhere, maybe right here.
Somewhere.
We got his YouTube somewhere right here. we're gonna figure out where we're gonna link all this stuff. But thanks for hopping on here, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, dude.
So I think the biggest takeaway from this conversation is what Kevin was talking about, the comparison trap. Obviously, there's always going to be people with more experience, maybe better gear, or just more resources than you might have at the moment. But that doesn't mean that you should stop doing what you're doing and just compare yourself to them, you know? And obviously this applies to more than just like photography and videography. Like this is just definitely just an overall life lesson. With social media these days, like you're gonna see highlights from everyone that you know and everyone that you probably don't even know either. But it's important to take everything that everyone's posting with a grain of salt, because obviously everyone wants to show off them living their best life and all their highlights and all the good things that are happening to them, but nobody really shows their struggles. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. All of Kevin's links are gonna be down here in the description center. Go ahead and hit him with a follow, subscribe, whatever it is. And if you're a photographer and you wanna talk about the creative process or some of your favorite photos or anything, shoot me a message, let's set something up. And until then, we'll see you next time.